Hey everybody, Texas Trucker here at Lansing Performance Shop, Lone Star, Mopars.com. It's about 11:30 p.m. here, July 1st, 2025. Start of July means two things. Number one, here in America, we're close to Independence Day. Number two, in terms of great German tool values, we've got a brand new seasonal. Previous seasonal, of course, was a BOGO on Stavila Pliers, and I think you will like this one. Now, before we get started into that, I'm going to try to go quick. I also, at the end, will have a German tool related surprise for you, something that might have slipped under the radar. But what I want to know from you in the quest to get to 10,000 subscribers, we're like 94 or something. It's only important to me because I have a huge bottleneck, because I can't release some videos because I have comparison stuff that would spoil tool hauls. It's, of course, as promised, Snap-on stuff. And we're almost, I think the first one I uploaded was like July of 23. I think I bought the stuff in June of 23. I'm talking 2023. And one way I could possibly, finally, get to the 10K mark is by letting you pick what we release Saturday. That's right, Wednesday, Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. That's new videos. And I'm going to give you some choices. I want you to leave a comment and let me know what you would like to see. Today's video, Wednesday, tomorrow, I had planned to do either Wiha or updates to the Icon toolbox. If you didn't know, I bought a brand new 73-inch Icon toolbox. Check that out. But you can pick. You can see something related to the toolbox. No, it won't be a tour. It'll just be like setup type stuff. You can pick Wiha. You can pick KC Tool Haul 125. Spoiler alert, it might be related or of the same brand, we'll say, as the seasonal. You can pick Zoro. You can pick Mac, DRPD, Koken. Just we'll see what the consensus is, and I'll take it from there. So most importantly, beyond that, I hope everyone, particularly stateside, has a fantastic Independence Day. Again, everyone has a July 4th, but only America has an Independence Day. Speaking of Independence Day, as we come in here, I've got this blocked a little bit for you. If you're a connoisseur of KC tool, right? You know, you got tool of the day, you got the seasonal, but you also sometimes have special events. Now, I don't know anything. I don't have inside information here. I can't spoil anything. I could even lead you on. It might not be true. Typically, every Independence Day, KC Tool has a promo running where it's usually if you spend not much, you get a free bottle opener. I don't know if that's going to happen, but if you see something here in the seasonal you like, remember, you don't have to rush out and buy it immediately. You could potentially wait for the weekend and hopefully you have the bottle opener. If not, you still get it coming, but, or you could buy something now and wait, but just be aware, historically, that has been a thing. Again, I have no confirmation it'll happen. I'm just telling you what I remember from the past. Also, I will tell you, are we shilling? No, believe it or not, a guy doing videos, 12, almost 15 years on this channel, and tools for a very, very long time. These are still not affiliate links. That's right. You could buy everything I show you. I don't see a dime. I post this. I tell you this for your own good. But with that said, let me click off this, because summer 2025 seasonal is Hazet. I am very, very excited about this one. In fact, I'm just going to let you sit and bask in the teaser images with the blue smoke. I assume this is something Colin created. Could have been someone else, but a lot of time goes into this. You don't really think of it unless you're the guy doing it. So kudos. At least I think it's neat. I'm sure some other people do. Some of you may hate it, but hey, we even had some fireworks, So I appreciate the effort. And with that, let's see what deals we can unlock. All right, you already know. You know it's going to be pretty good because we got 4 rows here. If I want to remember correctly, I think there's 12 items. I'm going to scoot through them row by row. Coming up first, let me get to the prices here because, yes, this is Hazet. And, yes, that's almost 50% off on this whole front row. Okay. If you were unaware, one of the things, I've mentioned this in recent videos, I can't remember if they've released yet or not, but I've always been a fan of the Hazet website and their like worldwide flyer promos. Think of like the Mac dude, you know, I get on the Mac tool truck, he's got flyers, they have seasonal savings, they've got Father's Day. I cash in on everything I can, right? Hazet has always had these killer promotions and sale prices, and it was stuff that like didn't apply stateside. Well, now through KC Tool, it does. So if you've like kind of had a dabbling of Hazet and liked it, but been like, man, these prices are crazy. Well, guess what? They might not be as crazy. So don't just stop here at the 12. Go back, check things out. You might be pleasantly surprised. Now, that said, I have bought, I don't know how many of these 197-3 magnetic cups. Can you find them elsewhere? Yes, you can find them in all sorts of colors, all sorts of rebrands. I don't know that you're going to find them for $11.99. Go to your Jungle site, go to the local parts store. You're probably paying more than that. This is a fantastic deal. Keep in mind, every KC Tool Haul, what do I tell you? You get free freight at $75. So if you're going to buy, say, the lug nut impact sockets for $60 and you think, man, that's a great deal, I've wanted those for forever, why would you pay $10 to $15 in freight when you could just throw on the magnetic nut cup and have your stuff ship for free? Okay. Again, this comes from a guy that makes nothing when you buy anything that you see here, right? I'm just telling you what I do because it makes sense to me, which is why I do it. So these are great. I get it. Some of you may not like the Hazet blue. It's kind of like a teal. I love it. It's grown on me even more through the years. And I have a crud ton of these. They're fantastic. I've got them hanging on the gantry crane holding like grade 8 stuff. I've got one hanging off of an engine stand holding all the attaching bolts. I've got one on the side of my roll cart at work that's filthy. It has stainless stuff in it. They're just really, really cool, super functional and useful. And again, if you haven't ever tried one, $12. Again, feel free to shop around, compare prices, look for a color you may like better. I don't think you're going to find one at that price point. Jumping over here, since we hit on it, 17, 19, 21 lug nut sockets. These are special, not just, special flag colors. No, that's a protective cover. All right. Let's see if they have. That's, of course, going to protect our wheel. And there's no inner liner, it doesn't look like. But again, you're probably especially on German cars, I guess it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But I have wanted these for a very long time. Perhaps we'll pull the trigger because, again, 43% off. Almost unheard of for Hazet stuff over here. This right here, this is really what started my love affair with Hazet. It is the old school 916 HP. Not the HPS, which would be the quick release, but the HP. This is Hazet's hyperfine mechanism. It is 90 tooth. It is, as best I still know, the world's strongest ratchet. The torque that thing can take before it fails is absurd. I don't even know how you would apply that much torque. Right? Short of like a massive cheater bar type of a scenario. It is fantastic. It's what made me like Hazet. It's what made me try other things. It's what made me realize like, oh, this is quite a bit more expensive than the other brands, but it's pretty nice. From the handle, the tie-in, the satin chrome, even the polished head, I used to think, why do they do that? Why is it not just that? It's kind of like their thing. They do it consistently throughout the line. It grown on me over this time, right? I have, if you've seen any of like the Ram Revival or when I'm just randomly around the shop, the 916 HP is almost always out, and it's filthy, and I love the thing, and I have not broken it. I have not had any issues. I've picked up all the quick release iterations that came out later. I've picked up the quarter, the 3/8 counterparts. I've got the bit ratchet. I've snagged the extendable. I've snagged the extra one. Pretty much, if it's an HP mechanism from Hazet, I either own it or I will own it. And the only negative I can say is if you're like, man, I want to get that in a flex head. They're still rocking the old school stuff there. I anxiously await the day, and I do hope it comes, where they have the 90-tooth hyperfine mechanism in a flex head or a locking flex head or any other iterations. But this right here, for $85, I don't know how you can go wrong. It's absolutely fantastic. This next one, consider shots fired. You recently saw, hopefully, the video. We brought in a tool check, the modular, the brand new one. I alluded to this. I said, Hazet's come out with one, and I kind of dig it. And this is what I dug. I'll tell you, this morning there were 8 of these in stock. And as you can see, there are now none in stock, so they have sold out. They might have even had an additional shipment come in. I know because some of my Hazet stuff that's been on back order for a while came in today and shipped out. So, but this is basically Hazet's iteration of the tool check. Big advantage here, if anyone cares, like these are the legit Hazet sockets. These are German sockets. They're not made in Taiwan. You'll have to forgive me, my internet sucks when I tell you it takes like 6 hours to upload a 30-minute video. I'm not lying. You can probably believe that as you see these images struggle to load. That's not KC Tool, that's my internet. But check it out. You kind of got your 50 mil or 2-inch bits, you got your 1-inch bits, you've got their colored banding. You've seen this in like my smart holders and smart finders we've done. You've got the super nice bit ratchet. This is not the 90 teeth, but it's good. You get an 811 updated handle. It's sort of like smart rail-esque up top. $109 on the sale price. You can get the original Vera a little less. The new ones, like full size, kind of in this range. Let me know what you think. Some of you might be content with your Vera stuff. Some of you, maybe you had SAE, or maybe you just got bits and you're like, man, I wish I would have gone full tilt. This is now a viable option for you, especially because of the pricing. So fantastic all across the board here. Coming down, you kind of have like your, I don't know. I don't really need that, but it's cool. This will be a caliper for your brake discs and rotors. Again, could you get by with something cheaper? Yes. Are you a Hazet super fan or a Volkswagen super fan and you want to do this? Possibly. It is what it is there, right? It's just kind of unique. Again, Hazet has a lot of OEM specialty tools. If you're a Volkswagen, Audi type person, you probably know this. You probably have some of it. But they don't just make like hardline hand tools. They have a very robust catalog, and it includes a lot of specialty stuff across multiple industries. Automotive, forestry, industrial. This would be something on the automotive side of that landscape. Not necessarily specific to a car make or model, but just general purpose. So do with that what you will. This next item is something I've showcased in detail multiple times. This is the latest and greatest iteration of it. This is the 136 millimeter iteration, so that's going to basically be our full-size handle. Keep in mind they do have like compact ones. They've got all sorts of them. This one is phenomenal because it's easy in, easy out. You'll note how that bit was just inserted, and then the dual drawing inside the arrow there. It is absolutely killer. I love the things. The 810s were great. The 811 they actually improved upon with the updated mechanism. This is something I wholeheartedly recommend you try. The other thing phenomenal about it, and I've said this for years, it holds the bits insanely well. If you're someone who hates sloppy bit holders, this is not a sloppy bit holder. This is very high quality, very nice hold. Again, this next 2 items, you're kind of getting into like, this is sort of special application. Do I need it? Can I justify it? The first one, absurdly cool. Quarter hex drive. So what does that mean? That means not quarter square drive. That means quarter hex drive. Think of pairing this with your smart holder tool check iteration that you just saw right above it. This would be for probably low torque applications. Think biking, things along those lines, possibly top end engine stuff, motorcycles, 4 to 10 Newton meters, right? But it is a super cool T-handle style torque screwdriver. I currently do not own any Hazet torque tools. Hazet, Stavilla, Gador, all 3 have phenomenal torque tools. And this one is very, very unique. It's also pretty new as best I remember. So some of you, particularly like say you're like super hardcore into like road racing bikes or something, this might be a huge deal. If you want to go drive your Volkswagen Beetle, maybe not, right? But super cool, and again, it's not as big of a discount, but it is discounted, and do with it what you will. This next one is discounted. It is discounted heavily, and it is a dog 60 to 320 Newton meters. That's going to be a little bit more applicable for those of us on the automotive side of things, right? Again, I try with this internet, but you can see the collar here where you would adjust the scaling, the graduations. It's a very, very cool looking torque wrench. Again, no personal, sadly, experience with these, but it is something I would love to do. If you notice, I go back to this, that almost looks like it's deadlocked in the center, and that makes me believe it would probably be like our Ghidorah. One of the coolest things about the Ghidorahs, when they have that feature, that's basically you disengage the ratchet mechanism and it's like a breaker bar. Also, the push button makes me think, and I could be wrong here, I'm just speculating, I haven't read anything. I would think there's interchangeable heads, so again, you can kind of go in town and do with it what you want to do. But again, if you're frustrated with your torque tools, I would think Hazet would be a pretty viable option. So 1 through 4, 5 through 8. I told you I thought there were 12. So we're going to come down here, 9 through 12. This one might be, you're thinking like, oh man, they got these high ticket items and this stuff, and I don't know. And oh, hey, like you're thinking, hey, this is like some hardcore hardline stuff that I can pick up. All right. I didn't know about the caliper, the torque tools, expensive, not sure if I'd use them. This stuff here, I think you'll have a lot of interest drawn in it. All right. Up first, you've got an adapter set. This is actually, we're going to actually have to jump into this because it is fairly comprehensive. I don't know if this is the one that comes in the tube. I've seen that for years. I stayed away because the price was insane. It's still pretty high, but when you see what you're getting, you're like, oh, hey, that's actually not bad. What do I mean by that? 3/4 to half, half to 3/4. That's something that you're typically not going to see is half to 3/4 or a 3/4 reducing down to half. Typically, if you buy a set of adapters, it's 1/4, 3/8, half, you're done, right? So as you might guess then from there, you've got a reducer, half to 3/8. You've got a 3/8 to half adapter. You got 1/4 to 3/8 adapter and reducer. And then another kind of bonus item that might sleep in under the radar. Let's go to the fireworks shot. Man, this internet sucks. I was trying to be cool here for you, but there we go. Clicked that 10 minutes ago. But it is a hex adapter. This guy right here, like, where's the drive-in? They put it down? No. This would be your drive-in here. And then right there, that collar, this will hold bits. So if you buy the Hazet Smart Holder, okay, from up top, you will have a ton of bits that you could then apply either to your T-handle torque wrench. But if that's not your thing, you can just put it here. Maybe you haven't bought the Hazet bit ratchet. Plug and play. Maybe you just have a little smart holder, one of like $17 bit iterations. There you go. You got your adapters in place. Next up, we've got the 600 SPC10. Again, what does the 10 mean? 10 pieces? You betcha. This is kind of their standard run-of-the-mill combination wrench. I've recently had a lot of discussion in the comments with people on the most recent tool haul, 124. We brought in some Stavilla Series 14s, which is their factory offset. Hazet's offsets are going to be a 603, but I did compare the Stavilla Series 14s to the Hazet 600 LG. LG being their long pattern, so the 600 would be kind of a standard length, right? They are going to advertise slim heads, 12-point box end, offset 15 degrees. Pretty much everything you'd want. Now, there is a skip. It's the 9. They also jump through 11. If you loved these, 9, I don't know what that translates to, if anything. But I can tell you that the 11 and 7/16 would cross over, and then you're thinking, oh, they probably skipped 16 and 18. No, they're there. Some of you might be like, oh, I needed bigger sizes. Here's the deal. Pick the setup. Try it out. If you love them, come in and buy your 21, 2, 4, 7, 30, 32, whatever you need to do. If you don't, this is a pretty good kind of run-of-the-mill set, 8 to 19, right? If you've got to have no skips, you can come in and buy those wrenches standalone to build it out completely. What I will tell you, again, this is the seasonal. You're probably seeing 3 in stock and freaking out like, oh no, this video dropped, I gotta go get them. All right. Remember, it can be out of stock and you can buy it. Also, this should restock multiple times, right? This goes 3 months. The seasonal is not like a day, a week, a weekend. It's 3 months, right? There's 4 seasonal sales through the year for the 12 months. So what I'm getting at is, let's say that you're very interested in this, but you're like, man, I'm going to go... I don't know if I want to commit. It's a great buy. It's 50 freaking % off for Hazet wrenches. Unheard of almost. But you're like, I don't know if I want to swing the 160 there. I'd like to kind of sample or try something. So here's what you could do. Got a couple of options. You can come in and you could just think, I think I'm going to like it. So you could buy a larger wrench that you think you would need. If you use a 6 or a 7, you could come in and do that as well. Or you could probably... if you're thinking like, man, I've always wanted to pull the trigger on this, what do you use most frequently? Are you like Japanese persons? Are you like 1214? Are you German? 1013, 17, 19? Pick one, buy the 600 LG iteration, and just know that these, in theory, should be the same thing, same form factor, pattern, everything, feel and hand, just smaller, right? You could also just literally come in and buy the 10 and be like, well, I didn't spend much money and boy, I love it. I'm going to get that set. Same thing if you use an 11 or you want it to cross over. Lots of ways to work around that. So keep in mind, though, you've got plenty of time. This is 3 months. I'm making this video for you on day 1, so you're covered. But let's get some glamour shots here. Hopefully it was loading quick. That's a cool shot. Kudos to you, Colin, for taking the time to stack those. I will tell you right now, these are a very thick beam. They look square, and you're probably thinking of cheap wrenches that are square. These have a very nice, it's subtly radiused. It does not dig into my hand. And I know because I have the long pattern and I can apply a lot of leverage. The box ends are phenomenal. The fit is great. One of my pet peeves on wrenches is the placement of the stampings and everything. These, at least on the long pattern, are stamped at the box end and at the open end and on both sides, right? As best. I don't know if we're going to get a good shot anywhere here, but essentially open end 10, you're going to have Hazet here, and then box end you're going to have 10 box end. If you flip it over, you'll have the same thing, but instead of the Hazet logo, I believe there's a made in Germany, possibly some other text, but that's about it there. That is a phenomenal deal. Some of you, interestingly enough, in the Stavilla Series 14s, which I showcased in Tool Hall 124, it was a deal, and this is legitimately my only complaint with Stavilla wrenches. This is, say, a 13, okay, right here. Just pretend the 12 is a 13. If you have their standard wrench, it's an open box 13, and you're thinking, well, that's cool. But open box 13 is the series. So if you had a 12 or a 14 millimeter wrench, it would be open box 13, and then you'd see a 14. Similarly, with the Series 14, of course, it is an open box 14. I get what they're doing, but it could drive some people nuts. It's a minor deal overall for a fantastic wrench, but if you're like, I had a couple, I think 2 people so far in the comments had said, like, that's a deal breaker for me. That would drive me nuts. Here's a solution, right? Hazet, Gador, go to town. But that said, if I don't know many people that don't like the Stavilla kind of I-beam design, thumb recess, very light with absurdly well-finished wrenches. But if for some reason you don't like that design, the Precision Torques from Mac, the RBRTs from Mac kind of have a similar type of a profile. If you do not like that, and you prefer something thicker, I would say these Hazets are close to the thickness of a right. But where the right is sort of more of a traditional, this is more squared, but again, it's not 90-degree square. It's radiused very well. Again, if you don't want to take the flyer on the 50% off sets, grab one. Size up, size down, size you'd like two of, or get the long pattern iteration of a staple and go to town there. That is my advice on that front. Up next, we have the 762. What this is, it is a two-piece set. This is 5-inch EDC type pliers. Think of your Cobra and your 5-inch pliers wrench. Not the XS with no grip. The XS are going to be like a 4-inch. I'm not sure 5-inch with the increased capacity isn't like the better setup, especially with me tearing holes in my pockets, but this was recently tool of the day. By recently, I guess it did take a while to come in if I bought it. Won't spoil much there, but it is back. This will give you a taste for two things. Number one, Hazet's pliers wrench. Number two, their universal pliers. The shining thing with these, aside from sort of the updated grip and whatnot, is simply their mechanism. Their mechanism differs from everyone else, you know, Gador, Knipex, NWS, Icon, Canicon, whatever you want to call it. Where you see this lever here, dadgum, look at the button up by the head and then come down to the tab just above the Hazet blue. That is actually what you press and depress to slide and adjust. Some people will love it. Some people will prefer what they're used to. Some people will say, oh, but the price, you know, I got to go Knipex. If you have a void, maybe you've set up with Knipex, you know, 10, 12, maybe even 7-inch, and you've never done the XS, or you're like, yeah, the XS are okay. I wish they were, you know, 5-inch would have been better. This is a viable thing for you, and you get to try it. And keep in mind, like the 125, yes, spendy, but divide by 2, conquer. Oddly enough, a lot of times with German tools, like the smaller pliers cost more. That's, I believe, in part probably just to production numbers, if I had to guess. But again, if you're interested in that, you're like, I don't know if I want to commit to the 5s, pick a more normal size, a size you'll use in whatever you do of the pliers wrench or their universals. Go to town, see what you think, come back. You got 3 months, all right? This is something you could see it now and just slowly, you know, every Friday or every payday or every other week, come in and grab what you want. Now, if you're looking for the supreme value here in terms of low-tier price point, you've, of course, got the magnetic cup, the lug nut sockets, but you've also got the 811-6. The 811-6 is going to be a 6-piece set, almost 50% off. $28 gets you 6 Stavilla Hazet screwdrivers. Ain't going to do that on the tool truck. That's going to buy you 1 screwdriver. Across the board, take your pick. Mac, Matco, Snap-on. All right. The 811 handle. I am a fan. I've recently taken a 3.5 striking cap to work. That's like one of the more recent things I've brought in. Spoilers there for you. This is what I want to highlight, though. They didn't just change. I was a huge fan of their 810 handle. It was really, really good. I also really like the hexanamic handle. That's like their top tier. It is still in production. The 810 phased out as best I know. Sure, you can find it if you want to. If you were to cross the hexanamic handle with the 810, this is like the hybridization of those. That's the best way if somebody has had that. I'm not talking trinamic, the plastic hardcore old school handle, but the hexanamic, they're most expensive, and the 810 from just literally like a year ago. This is like a hybrid, but they didn't stop there. They made another improvement, and it ties in sort of with their colored, you know, smart finder type stuff. If this will load, I'll grab some water since we're losing our voice. I promise I clicked it. It's just my amazing internet. Will it cooperate? Let's try again. There we go. You're thinking, whoa, what is this? This is Hazet's. Think of where's Take It Easy Tool Finder. This is Hazet doing the same thing. So red is going to tell us Phillips. Yellow tells us slotted. At a glance, in a tool bag, in a bucket, in a holder, whatever they're in, if they're vertically stored, you can quickly identify by color. And then the best thing is, instead of just having like an X or a cross for Phillips or a straight line for slotted, They're also colored, and you have the size. Little things make a big difference. Again, if you store these horizontal in your box, not that big of a deal. But for those of you mobile people or on the go, this is a really cool setup. These are made in Slovenia. I've had really good luck with my Hazet drivers. And if you've always wanted to try them, but you've been like, ugh, those things are expensive, I will tell you right now, like if you wanted to come in and buy a number 2 Phillips from Hazet, you could probably spend around 20 bucks, if not more. And you're getting a set of them for $28. Pretty sweet setup, in my opinion. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the seasonal. Again, don't freak out. You got 3 months here, so you don't have to come buy everything tonight or tomorrow when the video drops. If you want to, you can. But you've got 3 months. These deals will be here. Again, right now, almost everything is in stock. If you're like, man, all I really wanted was the adapters, this is terrible, they're out of stock, I can't get it. You totally can. You come in here, you add to cart or quick view, make sure it's something you want, and you add to the cart. That tells you the ETA is July 25th, right? You buy this, it sits there, it's on back order, it comes in, it ships to you, you're home free. And also, if you're not a member of KC Tools Rewards program, I would encourage you to do that. Why? You get points, and that translates to free stuff. All right, this is some of the ways you can set it up. I'll let you read over that. I don't want to drag the video out too terribly long. But again, if you're curious, like if you see my video a week later and they've taken away the banner, all you got to do, you come to KC Tool, you hit shop, and right over here you navigate to the seasonal. It'll take you back. You get to relive the glorious artwork and go to town. But case in point, if you're going to buy the adapter set, you already have free freight. But if you're like, man, I really want one of those mystery stickers, do you want screwdrivers? No, you're set, you say? Hard to believe, but I'll take your word for it. Pick up a nut cup for 12 bucks, get your free freight, get the mystery sticker, have fun with it, make it work. And again, just if you're like, oh, overwhelmed, I've always wanted the 916 HP, I got to get the smart holder, the lug nut sockets are cool, I want that bit holder he talks about. Some of you might even want one of the torque tools. You want the adapters because they're Hazet and it's a great set. You got to do the wrenches, got to do the 5-inch, got to do the screwdrivers. Drag it out. I mean, you can turn in a massive order, right? That's your prerogative. You can space it out, you can think, hey, and I've been waiting, or saving up for something. Those screwdrivers tacked on would get me free freight and the mystery sticker. I'm going to wait. Do that. You've got 3 months, right? So that is that. I want to know from you, what do you think of this seasonal? How does this seasonal stack up in your recent memory against other seasonals? I think this one is pretty dadgum good. Again, being a Hazet fan, I suppose helps. If some of you weren't Hazet fans, just because the price point was a deterrent, because you could get Knipex or Stavila or Vera stuff, same price or slightly cheaper, maybe this gets you as a gateway, right? I will also tell you, I was very fortunate. I've got about like a month's worth of work to do in my office. And I've been stuck in the shop for like 3 weeks straight. And I had to, long story short, I'd inventoried and stocked some stuff. I had to turn in an order. I can't function without hardware, right? So I had to do it. I came in, I knew it was July 1st, just like I was alluding to the bottle opener possibly happening. I know the Stavila BOGO went off June 30th, and what does that tell me? Next quarter, next seasonal should be Monday, July 1st. So I went to the website. Luckily, I hit it before Colin's email came out, and guess what I did? I bought some of this stuff. Let's see here. I will tell you, we did... maybe I did. I guess 4. Initially, I've pulled the trigger on 4 of these items. I want you to guess which 4 you think I've got. What does the winner receive? Basically nothing, but I will pin your comment. If somebody, first person, there could be like multiples of you that get this right, there could be none of you, but if one person gets it right, and it's like, I think you bought the nut cup, the 916 HP for a backup for your road bag, the smart holder to compare to the modular, and the lug nut sets to put in your road box with the magnetic nut cup, and that's actually what I did, I will pin your comments, and you will have the satisfaction of knowing that you guessed correctly. But yeah, 4 of the 12, what could it be and why? Let me know. Now, I do recall, I believe I told you, I had something unrelated to the seasonal, but that was very relevant and might, just might, have gone under your radar. So, we're going to come in here, and I'm going to, if I would have had this tab open, it would have spoiled the surprise. Okay. Dun dun dun, you're thinking, Cobra ES, what does this have to do with Hazet? Well, nothing, but do I need to make a standalone video on this? I don't know. Today, July 1st, Knipex had one of their, like, product presentations. YouTube's doing this like terrible dubbing thing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I almost liked the captions better and hearing the German, dude actually talk, but I haven't even watched the whole thing, but I knew this was coming. How did I know this was coming of all avenues? From Japanese YouTube. Yeah, like the guy had it early, like he was a distributor and he got these ahead of time, and I'm like, well, seems like there would have been an embargo on that content, but hey, it's good to know. I was actually going to ask Colin when he thought they might get these in. That's kind of the next question, but you're thinking like Cobra ES. Is that, doesn't look like a Cobra. Is that extra slim? It is. And you're like, wait, I have that, and I think you have that. I don't need to know about this. You do, because it's been updated and expanded upon. What do I mean? Well, let's let Knipex tell the story. Special gripping pliers for confined spaces. Again, I actually do have this be an issue where I can't get the Cobras where I need to go. And it's not necessarily a thickness thing most of the time. It's a length thing. This is why you always hear me talk about how I like snipe nose, needle nose pliers, right? Long nose pliers. The Cobra is not that. The Cobra is just a gritty, get it done type of a plier. If you got access, if you don't have a throw, obstruction, it's great. If you do, you need something with a longer reach. This has longer reach. 10-inch, that's how my ESs are. That's all they offered. They now have the 8751 180, which is going to be extra slim 7 1/4. I've actually watched part of the video, but they started out with like tube cutters and crimpers, so I haven't gotten to the ES stuff. That'll be my like bedtime stuff tonight. This is what I do with my life, I tell you. And I want to hope that they'll have this in their 2-component, I guess 3-component now, with the extend stuff. That's just what I prefer. I know it seems counterintuitive because, like, it needs to be slim. You want a compact grip. No, I don't. I want the comfortable one. And I want this part to be long to get me where I'm going. And you think, okay, well, 10-inch, 7 1/4, time to go. No, it's not. There's more. All right. So this is just going to walk you through this again. Right there, the Cobra might have trouble getting to that cotter pin. This has easy access to it. Greater gripping capacity. Interesting. I was unaware of this one. More gripping functions. This is the big one. Think of the American-designed twin grip. You're thinking, what does a twin grip have to do with a Cobra? How could you possibly improve upon the Cobra? You're thinking like, oh, well, I guess make it grip different places. Yeah. Front gripping serration for round parts such as screws, bolts, or as you can see here, aviation cable. Check it out. Cross groove. You can't really, I think this is new actually, which is cool. But here in a minute, you're going to see it. There it is right there. This is big. This is basically twin grip meets Cobra. And then they added this little multifunctional thing, for the nails that they showed up here. That is one of my favorite things from their combination needle nose. This takes like my favorite feature of those pliers with the greatness of the twin grip, with the greatness of the Cobra, compiled into one fantastic slim long range package, and that's why it's a must get. I'll probably be a thrifty dude and get the 7 1/4, but I'm excited. So there we go. Slim design and everyday carry tool. Is that an allusion to perhaps having 5-inch or XSES? Imagine XSES Cobra. Who's in? I know I would be. Yeah, so there we go. This is the other stuff. Hey, I didn't see the step cut. Huh. They didn't even mention that, so yeah, I'll have to look for that. I don't think that's new, though. Maybe they changed something. But yeah, they did a lot of fancy crimpers. They've improved their strippers. Little things like that. Some of you will be like, whoa, tell me more. Go to the website, watch the videos. For me personally, like the 7.25 ES and the fact that they've sort of hybridized the jaw is just, that's what I wanted to see. So that's it. It is after midnight. I've got to come in. I've got to get this thing edited and uploaded. And that, my friends, will be the challenge, because you've seen my amazing internet in action. I can't load images. All right. So an upload of a video is time consuming. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on the Cobra ES. If you knew about it, if you're like, whoa, how did I not see that? The Hazet Summer 25 Seasonal. What do you think of the deals? What you would have liked to have seen? If there's anything you think, oh, this is a staple in Hazet, you got to try this. Hey, this is great. I've wanted Hazet. The prices have been too high. There's several things there I'm willing to try. Again, if you're totally new to Hazet, this is my sincere, this is what I would tell a friend, right? This is how I try to run my channel. That's why it's not scripted and it's not affiliate links. It's me like talking to you as if you were a friend in the shop with me, right? If you were brand new to Hazet and you said, hey man, what should I try? I'm going to tell you to get this. I'm going to tell you to get the 916 HP. It's what sold me on Hazet, and it might sell you on Hazet. Now, if you've got a plethora of half-inch drive ratchets, if your Snap-on is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and you just bought a 26-inch Icon and you're set there, don't do it. Okay, try something else. What would be my second recommendation? If you're on the fence, you're on a budget, buy this. In fact, I'd recommend you pair this with that, get free freight, get a mystery sticker, and call it a day. But if you don't need the ratchet, this, because it's a fantastic, I've said this for years. Go back, watch any of my videos when I first got one, different handle style of the 810. That is an amazing bit holder. Historically, it's also been an amazing price. Like, that's like the one thing of Hazet that was like super reasonable, like competitively, like makes the competitors look overpriced. And here it is in the seasonal. I highly recommend that. Some of you might want to go this route, if you've been eyeing these and you're like, oh, my little cheap ones are good, but they wear down, they round out. That's a viable option. I don't have experience with it. I don't think you could go wrong here. I say that because you're getting a bit holder similar to this. You're getting a bit ratchet. That will be their previous iteration, not the HP. It'll give you an idea of what to expect from the HP if you want to upgrade. Their bits have been phenomenal. The sockets are legit 100% made in Germany. I love their sockets. You probably have seen that in recent tool hauls. I think that would be a great option if you're just brand new, totally blind. This, while it doesn't give you a feel for Hazet, it's just a stupid good buy. Those things are very handy. You know me, you can't go wrong with more screwdrivers. I mean, if you want to use these as beaters or be like, well, I always break those Pittsburgh ones, maybe these will last a little longer as a pry bar, get them and try it, go to town. That would be my gateway. And then if you're impressed, or you're like, man, that stuff's really slick. If you did do the 916 HP, maybe come and consider the adapters. Tier 2, I would have the wrenches. Again, that's a little more spendy, but a phenomenal deal. You're probably never going to see them 50% off again. I'd consider that. I would also, again, depending on what you do, some people, you may not want anything that small. If you're an EDC type of a person, these come with a really nice pouch, by the way, with a belt clip and everything. But that would probably be my next tier 2. And then third tier would be like your torque tools, your caliper. Go to town. So that is my honest advice. That is my take on the Hazet 2025 Summer Seasonal. Again, 3 months, no pressure. Also, I could totally be misleading you. I'm trying to just say I don't know definitively. I don't know a certainty. But I do know historically there's a precedence that over Independence Day weekend or Independence Day, you typically have an opportunity to get a bottle opener. Might not be happening, but if it is, and you wait to purchase, say, your tool checks and it's out of stock, or I mean, heck, you could probably even get this. I check and see the minimum. I can't remember if there's a minimum or anything. And I will tell you, they sell out. The last one, I think, was the Philo. It took forever for that thing to come back in stock. But you will get it eventually if they do that, and keep that in mind, because let's be honest, we're 2 days away from that right now. So with that said, let me know your thoughts on all this, the Cobra ES, the Hazet Seasonal. If you think there will be... Now, I'm just going to throw this out there, okay? If I was a betting man, what bottle opener would make sense for this Independence Day? This is like the Brian Windhorst, right? I'm gonna go ahead and say a Hazet one. This is like my pipe dream wish list there. So be on the lookout. I don't know if that's happening. I'm speculating. I'm guessing, going only off historical precedent there. But anyway, this will be your video for today now. So I've got to stop talking and get it uploaded. And again, I do want your feedback. What do you want to see Saturday? I've got all the stuff sitting there ready to go. And what if she's like, hey man, keep the Hazet train rolling? Because I will tell you, KC Tool Hall 125, if that's what you pick, it is Hazet. So if you want to see a continuation of Hazet, we'll do that. If you want something else, tell me, we'll make that happen. And again, if you have not subscribed, if we could just get to 10K, I'm a man of my word. I've had all those snap-on videos there almost 2 years now. Okay, they're ready to go, and they're holding up a couple of other videos. But if we get me to that, I'll start releasing those things. You can tell me if you want them all in one whack, if you want them like spaced out, whatever. I'll try to accommodate. But yeah, I said I would do it at 10K, and I'm a man of my word. I'm going to stick to that. So KC Tool Hall 125, Mac, Zoro, stuff with the icon box from Harbor Freight, DRPD, Koken, pretty much any of that. I can go way back. I've got like videos, battery trays on the Duster, coolant tanks on the Challenger from like, I don't even know, 10 years ago that have never been released. I can do that. Just let me know what you want to see. I'll try to make it happen. But once again, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy. Hope you can take advantage of some of these deals. The phenomenal prices on a very kind of high-end German brand here stateside. So hopefully you can cash in, get them, enjoy them. Maybe, discover a brand that you fall in love with or really appreciate. Beyond that, Independence Day. Hope you have a fantastic time. Remember, freedom isn't free. Enjoy it while you can. Stay vigilant about it. Think like the founders. That's what I always suggest. Without getting political or anything, I'll leave it at that. And LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoy. Most importantly, I hope I catch you back here for more from my desk or shop. So, happy Independence Day. I'll catch you in the next one. I was trying to go full screen there. Couldn't help it. But, yeah. Have a good one, and I'll catch you back from there.